Hey there, you're watching the Jessa Channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and today I am here with more infectious madness. This is the infectious madness of Dr. Dekker, and I think it should be renamed to the slightly going baddie Dr. Leslie. Because our character that we're playing through as Dr. Leslie is finding things to become very strange. Very strange. We'll see if she is able to hold on to her sanity as well as her clients as we continue on through Act 2.
Midnight each day.
On Valentine's night.
Time as you know it freezes.
20 minutes past 10.
Keep up, Doctor.
Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep.
I'm a grave digger, Doctor.
I was at home.
David is my husband.
All on my lonesome.
Stabbed him with a steak knife.
Nothing changes.
I'm a qualified angel of death.
When I'm dancing,
You get this day over and over.
Hilda.
I black out.
I don't think she's got long.
And Laurie just...
Naked on the beach.
Hannah.
Is that it for today?
All right, so we were working with Nathan before. And let's see if it shows what we've already asked. It does. We were working on Henley Church with Nathan. Dr. Leslie's morning drags on as she and Nathan try and work their way to a conclusion. I'm going to continue with him, even though we ended his session at the end of the last episode. Let's just try and get him to Amber if we can.
I left Henley Church about 11 o'clock on Valentine's Day. I was talking to an archaeologist who said it uncovered some fossils resembling a strange cephalopod-like creature. Strange place to find an octopus, really. What? Do you think I've got something to do with Dr. Dekker's murder? Maybe you should ask your assistant who Dekker saw that day.
So... he's asking us to ask Jaya, who she saw, our assistant, who he saw that day. However, I don't see how to ask him that. We've already looked at our notes, and he was killed on Valentine's Day, so we should ask the patients where they were, which we have done. Let's see. There's our clues. We saw Alderby footage at the end of the last episode. So, we've tried archaeologist. Let's try cephalopod. We've already talked about that. Basically, octopus. Or octopus-like. But we've still got things to ask him here on Henley Church. Let's move on and try a few other things and see if Dr. Leslie can't get her brain kick-started. She stands up and heads over and makes another cup of tea. This time peppermint. Her stomach has been anxious. Maybe it'll soothe her. We've been asking about this Mind Stretch Outreach, which is a charity that Dr. Dekker was involved in. Let's just ask about Dekker again.
Dr. Dekker felt that Hannah was holding me back. The memories of Hannah. In his opinion, I was holding on to the past. So I guess he cursed me. If that's even a thing.
I highly doubt that any qualified therapist could do such a thing. Cursed you.
Yes, Dr. Dekker cursed me. I don't really want to talk about it, but let's just say I blame him for the way I am. Can you give me some advice, Doctor?
Advice?
I've been trying to think how I can get past today. I've come up with a couple of choices. I could set fire to Hannah's photographs. I've got them in Dropbox anyway. But setting fire to the clothes did the trick. Or setting fire to a rocking chair. She sounds like an old lady, but she loved that rocking chair, which I've not sat in since. Which one do you think's best?
I find that setting fire to the process of holding on, more mental and emotional work, would be better than perhaps burning down your back garden. However, I suppose the rocking chair might do it.
Set fire to the rocking chair. I never like the way it moves forwards and backwards. Forwards and backwards.
He's doing a very good job. It also amuses me that every single one of Dr. Dekker's patients, now Dr. Leslie's patients, are barefoot. It seems like Dr. Leslie is the only one sporting a pair of sturdy black brogues, tie-up shoes, the kind that you can go tromping across the field in the mud with, that kind, thick heels. Dr. Leslie is a thick-heeled type of woman. There's more to ask here, though.
Mindstretch Outreach arranges programs for gifted children. It's for poor, clever kids who can't afford private education. It's not much of a charity, I guess, but it certainly ends up with a lot of clever people who are thankful to the people running it. Which, in this case, is Dr. Dekker.
I've already asked him about Dr. Dekker. I'm not sure if putting in the word doctor in front will get some more information about this mind stretch. Yeah, we've already talked about that. Okay, let's try charity.
Forever giving to charity. Her things, her time, our money. I actually suggested a charity that Dr. Dekker mentioned called Mindstretch Outreach.
Let's try her things.
I don't know.
Her time, our money.
Sorry, no.
Okay, nothing there.
I've kept almost all of her stuff as she left it. It's just the clothes. I've decided to burn those yesterday, so here I am. Hannah loved clothes. Every season, she'd donate her entire wardrobe to some charity or another, and only buy stuff she loved. I was left with winter. I don't even know what her favourite season was. Does it matter? What's your favourite season, Doctor?
And we already answered that question, so I think it's time for a hint. I'd really like to get more information about Henley Church. Dr. Leslie types her pen to pen her father gave her when he left the church. We'll go for a hint here. What else happened to Nathan? I was wanting to know he left the church at 11, but I couldn't figure out how to say, I suppose I'll just tell you what else happened. On Valentine's Day. Let's try what else happened.
Sorry, I don't know. Is it me or did it just really get cold in here?
Dr. Dekker is feeling the chill as well, too. I suppose we're going to have to move to other patients for now. I left the church around 11. Let's try after 11.
I've got nothing.
No. Okay. It seems, Nathan, that our time is up for today. I will see you again. How about tomorrow? There's a strong emphasis on the word, as tomorrow sometimes repeats for Nathan, and Dr. Leslie fears that it may also be happening to her. We'll see Marianna next. And we'll start out with hello. Marianna is wearing a new dress, different, but the same octopus necklace. I didn't try asking her about the octopus in the first. I tried necklace, but not octopus. Good morning, Marianna. I see you're wearing that same octopus necklace.
Don't know. It's cold in here.
Yes, well, it is. Dr. Leslie is feeling the chill as well. She buttons up her jacket. 3 thick buttons on the front, covering a soft linen button-down shirt. Well, Octopus got us nowhere, so let's ask her about Valentine's Day. Well, actually, we'll just start with hello. I've learned to start the days with hello. At least that's how it was in Act 1, so we'll see how it is in Act 2.
I haven't been back to the beach since our last session, and no blackouts. New doctor and new hope. You're much better behaved than Dr. Dekker.
Thank you, Marianna. I'm very glad to hear progress. That's excellent. Dr. Leslie writes on her pad. She draws some pictures of ocean waves. And then she reaches out to Marianna. Let's see, what does she say when she reaches out? Let's see. So that
I haven't
was
been back to
the beach. Yeah. Okay. The beach? I'm very glad to hear that you've not been back to the beach.
I haven't been back to the beach since our last session. Kind of missed it.
But you've had no blackouts, and I am sure you don't miss those.
You do something a lot, you're gonna miss it. I suspect I'll go back there soon, but it's helped with the blackouts.
It's really interesting because his camera work, Tim Cowell's camera work on this is really, really, really good. All the different ways that he films the patients. Because since we're looking at one direction and we are static, it can become very boring very quickly. By the way, little note, fun fact, the Rorschach tests here on the wall above the couch are actually representative of the different patients. And hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that in the interview that I hope to get with these wonderful actors and director. In any case, let's head back to hello.
I haven't been back to the beach since our last session, and no blackouts. New doctor and new hope. You're much better behaved than Dr. Dekker.
You say Dekker was better behaved. Oh, I am better behaved. Well, I'm glad to know that. As I mentioned before, I do have a very measured approach to the therapeutic process.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients. That's not good behavior, is it?
He dated his patients. Does that include, well, yourself, Marianna?
I think her name was Scarlett? One of his patients, an older woman. I guess that's how he liked them.
Dr. Leslie writes down the word flirtatious nature and then the word rejection, question mark, on her pad. Her name was, oh goodness, I apologize. Her name was...
I think her name...
Scarlett, thank you.
It's Scarlett with 2 T's. Pretentious.
Did I put 1 T in? I'll have to go back and look at the footage and see. That'd be awesome. Okay, so Scarlett, but let's ask about Dr. Dekker himself.
We went out for drinks. Didn't you know? He said it was a breach of something or the other, but I can be pretty persuasive when I want to be. Shh.
I warned you that this wasn't family friendly, so what I'm going to say definitely does not fall within that. So put the kids to bed really quick, pause, and then come back. But I can just hear the collective boners of like hundreds of men who just went swing. And a couple of women. Yes, Aislinn, you nailed that. Aislinn Daeth is the name of the actress playing this particular part. Very well. I might say. Anyway, but I'm going to tell you that Marianna is having zero effect in a flirtatious nature on Dr. Leslie. We'll talk a little bit more maybe about that as the Let's Play goes on, whether Dr. Leslie could be swayed in that way. I'll leave you to guess for right now. In any case, Dr. Leslie's head lifts up. A curious look on her face, a look of curiosity on her face. But you said that you don't drink, yet you went out for drinks with Dr. Dekker. And under your own persuasion?
Yeah, drinks. I think Dr. Dekker ordered neat whiskey. I had water. I don't drink.
Ah, you'd mentioned that, yes. You don't drink.
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah.
We went out for drinks. Didn't you know? He said it was
Persuasive. So you can be very persuasive, so this was your idea. To spend time outside of the office with Dr. Dekker. That is a breach of conduct, you know.
I know, it's pretty hard to believe, isn't it? I feel pretty ugly. But I think I have a nice smile.
I would find it very difficult to believe that she feels she's ugly. That would be very, very, very hard for me to believe. And Dr. Leslie isn't buying it one bit. You say you feel ugly, but you do not show that. Most women who feel ugly, they hide themselves. They attempt to disappear. You show yourself in a way that is very difficult to ignore, Marianna.
Lots of people find me attractive, but I've seen something truly beautiful. It makes me feel dull by comparison.
This truly beautiful thing. What have you seen? Art? Another person? A sunset? Nature?
I have a recurring dream where I find something beautiful in the sea. But I don't know you that well yet, Doctor. Let's wait a while before I tell you my most intimate secrets.
Sorry to cut in, Doctor. I've just had a phone call from a solicitor. Ben's trying to sue us for nervous shock. Should I go and see him to talk it out, or should I find a solicitor to represent us? Sorry to be pushy, I just think we should act quickly before it's too late. Okay, well, just let me know.
Did you know, Ben? Dr. Leslie lets that sink in for a moment, what Jaya has just told her, and then turns to Marianna and asks her that question right off the cuff, as it were.
Clueless.
Okay. That's a no. I asked her that question already. I thought Marianna said she didn't drink. I jumped on that already. So, did I ask her where she was on Valentine's Day? I don't think we have yet. No, missed that. All right. So before our session ends, we'll ask her where she was on Valentine's Day. As soon as I can type. There we go. I've discovered that it's come to my notice that Dr. Dekker has passed on, well, Valentine's Day. I'm curious, were you in the office with him that day?
I didn't do anything on Valentine's Day. I washed my hair, and then I walked along the beach for the whole night. It's actually true. I saw one of your patients, actually. The nurse. She was on the pier with someone. Pretty much all of the night, too, so I can vouch for her, even though she probably didn't see me.
Ellen is in next. And we have gotten to Amber on Marianna. Yay! All right, so we will say goodbye to Marianna for today. And we'll talk to Jaya about the solicitor next, as that seems very important. Jaya, could you come in here, please? That's so cute. All right. And even Jaya comes to work barefoot. Nobody wears nobody wears shoes in this office? I'm not sure. Just Dr. Leslie and her stout brogues. Okay, let's ask her about Ben.
So, should I get a solicitor, or shall we try and talk it out with him?
Let's try and talk it out with him. I'd like to meet this young man.
Good choice. I'll go and see Ben to see if I can get him to call off the dogs. I have no idea what's gotten into him. Perhaps it's his mum.
His mum is unwell?
It's very interesting that you asked me that. It's not something I can answer, though.
I see. Well.
Good choice. I'll go and see Ben to see if I can get him to call off the dogs. I have no idea what's gotten into him. Perhaps it's his mum.
I don't think there's anything else we can ask about that, really. Besides his mum, which we've already tried. Just try the word mum.
I don't know anything about that, I'm afraid.
All right. And we've already asked her where she was on Valentine's Day. But I don't think we've ever asked her about Dr. Dekker.
It hadn't even been a year. He was a quiet, solitary man. A good listener, as I suppose you'd need to be. His confidence did grow as time wore on, but that's what you'd expect after you've fitted in. I mainly miss our chats. He used to work late with me and tell me things about the patients, things that I probably shouldn't have heard, but did. What do you think of the patients? Nah, perhaps you shouldn't say. You can ask me. Go on, I'll tell you what I think.
She said work late. Well, I'll ask you about that in a moment. But I'm more wondering about working late. It has come to my attention that Dr. Dekker may have had a breach of conduct with another patient. Would you know anything about that? Would he have talked to you about that while you were working late?
We'd work late together on all sorts of things. He was preoccupied with finding patterns in patients, trying to find some kind of order.
Patterns. Was he successful in finding any? Dr. Leslie's eyes drift up above Jaya to the patterns on the wall behind her.
Mainly he was searching for a common experience the patients might have had. That's what led them to his office. He'd study everything, even the referral letters.
There are referral letters. Are they still in the patient's files?
Yes. Letters, parking tickets, holiday destinations. You know, I find those referral letters... He was sure there was a pattern in them.
Yes, if you could look those up, that would be most appreciated. Thank you. And then she had mentioned something about, what do you think about the patients? Let's see if that works.
Most of the patients are suspects, according to the police. Almost all the patients are referred, and some of them are privates, but Dr. Dekker didn't introduce any of them.
Privates?
Sorry, Doctor, I don't know.
I'm curious as to what privates means. Dr. Leslie would know, but I do not. Probably just maybe came on their own volition or weren't referred by anyone. Maybe that's it. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else we can ask here.
It hadn't even been a year. He was a quiet, solitary man. A good listener, as I suppose you'd need to be. His confidence did grow as time wore on, but that's what you'd expect after you've fitted in. I mainly miss our chats. He used to work late with me and tell me things about the patients, things that I probably shouldn't have heard, but did. What do you think of the patients? Nah, perhaps you shouldn't say. You can ask me. Go on, I'll tell you what I think.
We can maybe ask about each specific patient. So let's try that. Marianna was just in. What are your views on her?
Marianna is a special girl. You know, there's something about her that just makes you want to follow her. Maybe that's what a trendsetter looks like.
And Ellen? Or Elin?
Elin seems like a lovely person. I'm not really sure why she's here.
Dr. Leslie writes down Elin and draws a quick picture of a pier by the ocean. Dr. Leslie does have a habit of drawing, sketching, and that kind of thing when she's thinking. And what about Nathan?
Oh, I just want to cuddle Nathan all up. He's such a mess. He's always in the same clothes. You know, he barely talks to me though. It's the same hello every time. He reminds me of Tom.
Tom is not a patient I have seen yet.
Tom was a quiet mess, like Nathan. Youngish, in his early 20s. He taught piano, but he did have a strange hobby.
A strange hobby? How do you mean?
Tom liked to base jump. That's basically falling from a huge building or mountain and pulling your parachute before you hit the ground. He started to think he could fly. Dr. Dekker tried to talk him out of it, but Tom had to prove his point. So one day, Tom decided to base jump without a parachute. Can you guess what happened?
He died.
I think you might be barking up the wrong tree there.
Can you guess what happened? Yes. I can guess.
I don't know.
Can you guess what happened? Yes, I can guess what happened? Yeah, let's see. Yes, what happened?
I'm not trying to hide anything. I just don't know.
No worries. Jay is so sweet. I'm actually just talking to her as if she's... Okay, so let's read that again.
Tom liked to base jump. That's basically falling from a huge building or mountain and pulling your parachute before you hit the ground. He started to think he could fly. Dr. Dekker tried to talk him out of it, but Tom had to prove his point. So one day, Tom decided to base jump without a parachute. Can you guess what happened?
So the bolded means to me, I understand, question. Oh, we should ask how she is. Goodness, I never would have thought of that. I've already said hello. Can you guess what happened? Let's just try what happened.
I don't know about that, Doctor.
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to get the answer to her out. But if someone can let me know in the comments how I might be able to get that question phrased, if you have a suggestion for that, let me know. But we'll continue asking her about people. There's Tom, there's Marianna. We haven't met Lacey or Jasmine yet. There's Bryce, Claire. Those are the last two. Let's ask her about those. Bryce.
I think Bryce has a lot of misdirected anger. I don't think I like him that much. You know, sometimes when things overrun, he's outside waiting for you, and he stares at me as if he's undressing me with his eyes. You know, he's not the first person that's done that, but still, you know, it feels worse coming from him.
Bryce is the one that has the 25th hour, 25 hours in a day. Dr. Leslie writes down Bryce and draws a picture of a clothes hanger. Lastly, she'll ask about Claire.
Claire seems to be shaken by something. You know, I offer her drinks every time she comes in, but she always refuses them. It's as if she just wants to come in, get her session over with, and then run off to do something else. It's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yes, Claire is not the kindest person one ever met there. She's got a lot of anger, that's for sure. All right, let's see if there's anything else we can get from Jaya. Are we on? We are still have things to ask. We need to keep questioning with Jaya.
Good choice. I'll go and see Ben to see if I can get him to call off the dogs. I have no idea what's gotten into him. Perhaps it's his mum.
We're unable to ask him about his mum. She says she doesn't know anything about it.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. Sorry.
Oh, let's try Ben's mum. Maybe that will work?
She was cuddling him like he was 6. He's 25.
I see. Well, that cleared that. But that cleared out that question in our list. Hobby, I'm still a bit stuck on here.
Tom liked to base jump. That's basically falling from a huge building or mountain and pulling your parachute before you hit the ground. He started to think he could fly. Dr. Dekker tried to talk him out of it, but Tom had to prove his point. So one day, Tom decided to base jump without a parachute. Can you guess what happened?
Let's try, instead of saying he, let's try saying Tom. Tom died.
He did die. He was hit by a rock from further up the mountain. He never got to fly. Nathan thinks he knows what his problem is too, but if he's not careful, he'll get hit by that rock. I wish I'd said goodbye.
There we go. Just trying to get... So, pronouns do not work. We need to use a name. I wish you'd said goodbye. You mean to Nathan or to Tom?
I wish I'd said goodbye to Dr. Dekker. It was so sudden. You know, here, then gone. He resigned anyway, but that's not the same, is it?
He had resigned? This is the first I have heard of that. I understood that he was very happy in his practice. It was a sudden shock to me when I got the call that he needed a replacement.
Dr. Dekker resigned shortly before his murder. You know, it's sad. But doctors come and go, and only poor Jaya remains. I've got his resignation letter somewhere. You know, I do all the hiring and firing around here. Well, Professor Alderby and the Trust technically do that.
Professor Alderby?
Professor Alderby is a trustee. Did I not mention that?
The Trust?
I can't help you with that. Sorry.
Professor Alderby. Yes, I have some notes here. So, Dr. Dekker was seeing Professor Alderby as a patient. Interesting. I'm going to show you a little bit of Alderby footage from the last episode.
Nothing, of course. The faculty thinks I've gone loopy, like some kind of spongy Mobius strip. That's why I'm here, isn't it, Dr. Dekker?
Professor Alderby. We also have Dekker's resignation letter. Jaya walks out in the office. Dr. Leslie hears a drawer open, a bit of ruffling of papers, and then the drawer shuts again. And Jaya walks in with Dr. Dekker's resignation letter. To whom it may concern, please accept this notice please accept this letter as notice of my intention to resign from my position. Dated 11th February, 3 days before he died. Dr. Dekker. I hope you do not mind, Jaya, if I keep this. Jaya gives a crisp little nod. And I believe that's it for Jaya. We still have some questioning, but we'll try again later on. Let's move on to Bryce. Bryce's mood is definitely even more disdainful than yesterday, the last time we saw him. He looks edgy, as if something's weighing heavy on his mind. He's refusing to make eye contact with us, Dr. Leslie. Dr. Leslie greets him in her usual manner. Good afternoon, Bryce. I'm sorry I was a bit late seeing you. The last patient ran long.
There's something I want to tell you about. Something else that's wrong with me. I think I've been getting a bit out of control in my hour.
Out of control, Bryce. Are you a danger to yourself or others?
When I first got the hour, I was shocked, obviously. It took me a while to work out that everyone was frozen and only I could move, because I live on my own. What would you do, Doctor, if you had an hour where everyone was frozen? Go to a fairground?
I don't know, Bryce. I suppose I'd have to get used to the idea first. Do you go to a fairground? Is that what you do with your extra hour?
Ha! That was just an example, Doctor. I'm sure you can come up with more exciting things to do than that.
Exciting things.
I don't have anything to say to that.
Let's head back here to responses. Out of control, fairground. Dr. Leslie, informing her next question, it passes through her mind quickly that if she had an extra hour, she knows what she would do with it. Let's replay Out of Control.
When I first got the hour, I was shocked, obviously. It took me a while to work out that everyone was frozen and only I could move, because I live on my own. What would you do, Doctor, if you had an hour where everyone was frozen? Go to a fairground?
I don't think that's a question I can really answer. There's too many it's too broad. I have a feeling, let's look at our notes. What would I do if maybe I should suggest things he might have done to gain his trust? Okay. Yes. Stolen anything or spied on anyone. That's, of course, one of the first things many people would do. There are many things that people might do during an extra hour if the whole world were frozen, Bryce. Things that might make them feel out of control. Like, for example, they might steal.
Yes, I would steal too. And I have stolen. I ran out of milk, so I thought I'd go to the local all-night shop and get some more. I was absolutely intending to pay, but when I got there, everyone was frozen. I thought about leaving money on the counter, but that seemed weird. The cashier would wake and suddenly this money would have appeared from nowhere. But I've stolen bigger things.
Bigger things. Hopefully whatever it is would not take more than an hour to drag home, Dr. Leslie says with a small smile.
From stealing milk, I moved on to petrol. From petrol, well, all those supermarkets have all kinds of electricals, so I've stolen quite a lot of that. I'm not proud. I think I've been doing it because I can, to prove to myself either way, my extra hour is actually real.
Have you spied on anyone?
Well, that makes me feel a little better. There's a young mother, divorced, who lives opposite me. Jessica. She's friendly and says hello to me, smiles. I've always wondered what she looks like naked. So 1 hour, I broke into her house. She was standing in her bedroom. I took it as a sign. I took off her clothes and...
And? The rain taps on the window. And?
Nope, I've got nothing.
Let's ask about Jessica. She notices that Bryce continues to consult his watch, a timepiece. Perhaps he stole that as well. Bryce, you've mentioned this woman's name is Jessica.
I took photos of Jessica when she was naked. When I'd stripped her. When she was naked and frozen. I didn't want to have to do it again, to strip her again. So I took pictures to remind myself what she looked like. That's wrong, isn't it, Doctor?
Bryce. To violate another's person, to violate their home, to do things without their awareness. Yes, it's wrong. I'm more concerned about you and your mind and your mental state.
I know. It's that bloody Dr. Dekker. He made me this way. It's all his fault.
How is it his fault?
Like I said, I originally presented with depression, and everything was going well for a while. Then Dr. Dekker changed.
He changed?
He was
When?
easily distracted during sessions, like he wasn't listening. I'm pretty sure he wasn't listening half the time. I don't think he wanted to know about his patients anymore. But when he did give you advice...
The advice?
He told me to use my imagination, to make something up, to think something crazy, and it would become real. He told me to think of a way to get more time. So I did. But he pushed me. He made me think it.
He made you think it. He pushed you.
Not something I know about.
No go on that one. He made you think it. Taking a sudden tack, a different track. We ask about... Dr. Leslie asks about Valentine's Day. Did he make you think things on Valentine's Day, Bryce?
I was home alone. I only live 5-minute cycle ride from here, so I could have been and gone several times. But I didn't. I've never been to this office outside my scheduled appointment time.
I'm wondering, he said I could have been and gone several times. Several times?
I don't really know about that.
Okay. Cycle.
No. Sorry.
Let's replay Valentine's Day again.
I was home alone. I only live 5-minute cycle ride from here, so I could have been and gone several times. But I didn't. I've never been to this office outside my scheduled appointment time.
I've tried asking about Ben, so you would have never met a man named Ben.
Sometimes I see a girl standing behind you. I don't know who it is. I don't know what you're asking me either.
The developers, Vecchi Studios, mentioned that they would sometimes put a clue into the negative answers that the clients will give you. And that was an example of one. A girl standing behind you. So naturally, we're going to have to do that. But Dr. Leslie licks her lips. She hasn't been feeling right lately. Ever since Nathan appeared so many times in one day, as if... She shakes her head and refuses to look behind her. You say there's a girl standing behind me.
Possibly a relative of yours. Possibly a patient that died here. I'm not sure. She doesn't normally say anything. It's obviously not real. Probably a side effect of the sleeping pills I'm on.
Let me look over your prescriptions. I do not see a prescription for sleeping pills here on Dr. Dekker's notes.
Yes, that does sound weird, doesn't it? I take the temazepam as an antidepressant when I feel I need a little chemical help. I don't want to sleep through my extra hour, so obviously I don't take it at night.
I understand. Well, let me review.
When I first got the hour, I was shocked, obviously. It took me a while to work out that everyone was frozen and only I could move, because I live on my own. What would you do, Doctor, if you had an hour where everyone was frozen? Go to a fairground?
All right, over here under notes. Might suggest some things. Stolen or spied. Bryce, I think our time is up. We are still on red with Bryce. Unfortunately, his hour is up. We'll next see Claire, Ellen, and meet our two new patients, Lacey and Jasmine, see who they are, and we will do that in the next episode. We are 52% through this act, 30% through the entire game, and the clues are beginning to reveal themselves. That Dr. Dekker was killed on Valentine's Day, that he was going to resign 3 days before, that Elin was at the beach at the same time that Marianna was. Who was Elin with? What's that little pill, by the way? This was in the previous episode that Nathan could have taken that had the skull and crossbones on it. Where did he get that? All of these questions are coming through, and I hope that you have some guesses. Have you got some guesses? If you do, let me know in the comments below. I want to thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit the thumbs up button below, and if you loved it, join the party and subscribe. I'll see you back here for more madness in the next episode. And as always, thank you so much for watching.